Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, this is going to be a bonus general message. Usually I start these out with some anecdotes, something real that happened. And last night we got to bed pretty late, and Aries was quite irritated. Perhaps got nothing to do with somebody who's just been, well, the frustration is here on this card. And it might be because somebody's not getting what they want. In this case, it's probably not that they want bedtime and lights out, but rather they've got a map. They seem to, I don't know if they got ejected out of this fancy castle or if they are simply standing here not knowing where to go next. But obviously, we see this Five of Cups. There is an emotional disappointment, there is some problem, obviously. And this character just stands there, and we can see their kind of like distress over this. Wow, Ten of Swords. They are aware that something is over. Um, oh, something told me it was over when I saw you and that girl walking out. Etta James, right? I would rather go blind. That that just popped into my head. Gosh, they think that this is the end of their happiness. They don't see, why do they think it's the end of their happiness? What is causing that sudden like influx of it's over? My dream for my big happy family. What's weird is when I ask that, what we have is a Queen of Pentacles upright. Queen of Pentacles is, this is really happy. Five of Swords in the reverse. Oh, Ace of Pentacles upright. Okay, so this is somebody who's realizing there isn't a way to undo whatever blockages we've had because she has a new beginning somewhere else. That final argument that we had where she walked away, that is the way this chapter closes. That is the end of this. Oh my. Okay, so this character is pretty, I don't know, how did they find out that she's having a new beginning somewhere else? Or why do they think that? They may or may not be right about that. King of Cups and the Two of Cups in the reverse. Well, they say that they know that there's some amazing person making her happy. She's in some commitment with some amazing King of Cups, and that closes their opportunity to ever heal this with her, collaborate this with her, be with her again. They still held on to this idea that somehow, some way, it was going to be like, a handshake deal, a healing, reconnection, rebuilding the love. They had this possibly long drawn out plan, and they're saying all their plans went up in smoke. Here's the thing, they clearly hadn't done anything though, because they just stand here with their map. Let me ask this character, if your desire was to go back and fix something with someone, why did you stand there with your roadmap instead of actively go back and fix this with her? Like, because I'm feeling like if you want to fix something, you do it, right? You don't stand around, you don't waste time, you go do the thing that needs to happen. Death and rebirth, the reason they didn't is because they were trying to change some things in their life. They were trying to, well, maybe they had to change a bunch of things in their life. Maybe they had to work on themselves. Maybe they needed to get stuff, I don't know, figured out. Wow. Five of Pentacles, Five of Wands. They had a lot of changes to make. They had possibly a career change. Maybe they lost a career. Maybe they had to, figure out what they were going to do next. Sometimes life stuff gets in the way and it creates a lot of upheaval. Maybe their entire world shifted. If you lose a career, and even if you would like to go back and fix a relationship, all of a sudden, the need to be able to pay our bills and, have a place to live, that kind of can come to the top of the list of things that must occur. So heck, maybe they had to get trained for a new career path. They had a new location that they had to live in. They had a lot of other battles, a lot of other things that took up their time, because change is massive, right? It requires all of us sometimes. Okay, so they basically put a relationship on the back burner because they had other life stuff that they had to cope with, deal with, you know, figure out. But let me ask this, why was there ever that Five of Swords anyway? That really big, I think that this ended on a sharp note, on an argument. Six of Pentacles, the big argument had something to do with Hold on. Before I say what I think, let me get another card because I could be way off. Page of Cups. I don't know. I feel like in the past, you notice how money factors in a lot for this person anyway. And we have family and we have money. And then we have their heart somewhere back there. But they're always surrounded. We could say, oh, well, this is, everything is protecting someone's heart. But here's the thing, I feel like their life was very full and they were always giving to family and career. And whatever, even if they loved this Queen of Pentacles, I feel like they were, I don't know, it almost has this vibe of their heart and their, you know, extended family and their career path were the most important things. It's the idea that they always wanted to be, protected. They didn't want to heartbreak. Maybe their family was always surrounding them, like, too involved, too invested in who they were dating or whatever it might be, because it's like, oh, honey, you should be protected from any heartbreak. We don't know if we like so and so. They might, I don't know, this, instead of it feeling like this wonderful collaborative effort, I don't know how this is collaborative and cooperative with the Queen of Pentacles when they seem like they're in this little vacuum surrounded by all these other people, and all of their loyalties are being divided by these parts of the scale. But where's their time for the Queen of Pentacles? But it kind of feels like they were maybe going to try to apologize in a very insignificant way, like, look, I know, I'm sorry, my family just wants me to, not have my heart broken, and I'm giving a ton of energy to my career and to my family, and so that's why I haven't given you much. Sorry about that. That's not going to cut it. I don't think, especially an apology, or maybe this was the amount of love offer that they were giving, which was super immature, super tiny amount. It almost feels like this was somebody's, they even viewed themselves as mommy or daddy's precious little boy, baby girl, whatever. It doesn't matter what gender we're talking about, but everything was about like they should be protected and they should, always have everything else in their life more important than thinking about an actual partnership with the person that they profess to love, or they thought that the Queen of Pentacles should accept as like a baby sippy cup of emotion. Okay, this is somebody who maybe was only touch and base with her once in a blue moon. Well, that's not a partnership, especially a Queen of Pentacles is exceptionally giving. They weren't there for her. They didn't give her anything. It's definitely not equitable. You don't ever give a queen or a king or an emperor and empress a page's amount of attention. You will not hold on to them. That's it, it won't work that way. If you're starting a relationship and both people are just like, barely getting to know each other, you're just gonna have a cup of coffee, that's fine. But when you're dealing with a Queen of Coins, and if their argument with her was about like this is how their life is, and they were just like, yeah, sorry about that, but this is the time I can give to you. I feel like, I don't even know if it was an argument. I just feel like she bounced, right? We have, in this case, a queen, king, it doesn't matter, but we have a feminine who literally just walked away, and they felt like, I did it again. I think that this person, she didn't want to fight about this, and she doesn't care. She's just done. Okay, you're not investing in me because this is your vision of investment. Okay, not a problem. You can give your sippy cup to your family or to somebody else, but I'm not interested in the sippy cup. And she bounced without any argument, without anything. I think she just closed the chapter and she moved on. Now what happened when that chapter closed, when she was done, when she walked away after this? I'll call it the argument, but I don't think it was, because this was just something totally shut down. This was them feeling like they had a right to argue, or Five of Swords is usually like wanting to win. If they felt entitled to behave this way, look, I was giving you some attention. I don't get why you need so much more. Don't you know I have all these other things in my life that I need to balance? And it's like, you go right on ahead. I'm not your priority. I'm not even on your radar, not with that sippy cup. So it doesn't matter. I'm good. You can have your other things that are more important in life. And I don't think she was pissed over it. But what was there? God, the second she walked away, they actually felt like, this is great. We'll take a break right now. I'll do the things that I want to do. Um, I know that I'm her wish fulfillment. I'm really happy and I'm sure that we're vibing. Okay, I don't know how they got it this wrong, but this person had this, it almost made them happy because there was something here about like, see, I know that she wants me. We're just going to be at a distance. Um, I feel like now I have time to devote myself to whatever else I wanted to do. She's she thinks I'm her wish fulfillment. I don't know why when she walks away in silence, why they would assume that that means that someday this is going to be awesome. Because I feel like they don't pick up on the cues very good. I feel like this character all along has had the most bizarre assumptions of what their, it's like they live in their own universe where they make up the way they think things are, and what people should accept, and their life and what it's comprised of is the most important thing, and they can't actually see from anybody else's perspective, because in this case they didn't even understand that it was over. They, even though they knew she walked away, they saw her turn around, but maybe they're like, cool, she's just going to go focus on some of her goals, but obviously I know we're meant to be. I'm going to focus on my goals, and then we're going to come back together as this awesome power couple, and she knows it and I know it. This is just kind of like a temporary silent thing because I know we're going to be back together. Why did they think that? That is the strangest thing I have ever seen, to be honest. Ace of Cups, they thought that because maybe she said something that and they didn't actually understand what she meant. Maybe she point blank said, well, I loved you. It was real, it was true. I loved you a great deal. But you do what you need to. And maybe that's what they were like, see, she said she loves me. It's fine. I'll go do whatever I need to. I don't need to be around her when I've got all my family and my career and all the other stuff that I want to do. See, she gets it. We're going to be back together, but we don't need to talk, and I don't need to put in any effort, and I don't need to like be a partner to her, and I don't need to do anything. In fact, she just gave me freedom to go do whatever I needed to. And then someday, of course, she's already mine. I got this money in the bank. She's mine. She loves me. Wow. They didn't understand that was a goodbye. Uh, they don't pick up on context clues very well until now that she's gone. She is gone. She has started a relationship with somebody that is a king, somebody who is there. And now I can see why they're like, oh my God. I mean, someday I was going to go toward her. And I thought that our agreement was I don't have to give her anything. I don't have to pay attention to her because she loves me. So she's mine. That was her goodbye. That was her complete, it's over. She was kind enough to tell me that she had really loved me and then she let me go. I thought that meant I could always have her. She'd never move on with anybody else. Ooh, character. This person had, this, I don't know. I'm surprised we don't have cards that speak of selfishness because this feels like somebody who could not comprehend another human being's needs. It was just all so focused on themselves, what they needed to do, their priorities, what was most important. The fact that they would misunderstand another human being's like basic um, needs to that extent is kind of a big thing. And the fact that they felt so awesome about her walking away because it's like, oh yeah, of course she's going to walk away, go do her own thing. I'm going to go do mine. Then we'll come back together sometime as a power couple. That wasn't what the conversation was, but that's their takeaway. This person really only sees things through their own goggles. Okay, so let me just go to the universe here because they lost her. This was not somebody who was out there, trying to date other people, trying to do that. This was all kind of like the way I would describe this is a highly immature character, highly immature person. Their relationships with their extended family, their mommy, their daddy, their employer, all those were more important. But then they also wanted the love of this person to be given to them, but they didn't have to do anything in return because they were already busy being, mommy and daddy's good boy, good girl, and employers, employee of the month. And they didn't have space for a relationship, but they wanted that Queen of Pentacles to shower them with love consistently and be put on hold and put their whole life on hold because, see, I'm the one you want. I'm the best boy or girl. It's weird because it's selfish. And it also, they have actually been very confined, yet they also think that they're the star of the show. Universe, weigh in on this one, just because I don't want this to go on and on. Prince of Cups. They, at best, I think that this character was just, a knight. They don't have staying power. Did they love her? Yes. They actually really did love her. But knights are still taking action. They're not ready to settle. They don't have the, maybe this represents, I mean, they could have been a grown-up, but still thinking of themselves like they were about 16. Knights are still figuring things out. And even if they have a sincere, like, oh, I like this, I want this, they still don't understand what it means to like be in charge of their own lives. We have a 3 of Cups upright. And I would argue this is absolutely the consistent third party energy in their life, none of which was some other relationship. It was their dedication to the people that they viewed as superior to them, their dedication to their boss, their mama or papa, their family. Everything was, there was always, if she were going to be with this person, let me say, she would be with somebody who she would have to subjugate herself as well, because their lifestyle, their thought process was, well, yeah, I mean, I do what mom and dad and my boss say. That, and if you're with me, you will too. I don't think any Queen of Pentacles would ever be subjugated under some external third party's rules. Like a Queen of Pentacles probably is a business owner, probably makes her own decisions, doesn't get ruled by others. I can see that this would not have worked. They either needed to move forward and take charge of their life, and they weren't ready to do that, or she needed to move on and take charge of her life, because this was not the right connection. It wasn't going to be time for these two for a very long time, because they had so much growing to do. And either, you can accept what it is, or you can move on. Prince of Swords sideways. I think she gave quite a bit of time. And I think that they even could have matured if there were enough time for them to do so, but they have not been. Only an emperor and empress gets to ride in the chariot. If they were going to actually move toward her, it's almost like they would have still needed approval from somebody, for some external source, and they still hadn't gotten the approval. I don't know. This just feels like, I don't know when this relationship was ever going to have a chance, because this was always contingent upon somebody else's approval in their life. So I kind of feel like this is a good one to move on from, even though they're bummed that they're losing her. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up.